Good morning. See, we have opened the doors. Good morning. Good morning. We see lots of folks jumping in and just introducing themselves. I would ask, as you all are dropping good morning, I probably should have asked this as a welcome. Go ahead and drop in the chat box your name, where you're from, and the years that you have been in your role. That will be helpful as a survey of the room and who's with us this morning. And then to honor time, I will go ahead and get started. Is there any reason that I should wait? Am I echoing? Is the sound okay now? Is it better? All right, so for those that are just hearing me, just signing on, feel free to jump on, introduce yourself and the number of years you've been in your role. It is helpful as we're surveying the room to see those first years, see those veterans. And then we're going to go ahead and kick off our Principal Leader Conference. All right, so as we're doing that, and I know that I have a team that's monitoring the chat box, and I'm seeing, 1 year, 3 year, 15 years. I'll just go ahead and jump right in, and like I said, they'll keep monitoring. So Greetings, happy Thursday to all of our attendees and presenters. Welcome again and good morning. I'm Dr. Relly Ortiz, the Director of the Office of School Quality. On behalf of State Superintendent James Lane and the Virginia Department of Education, we are both honored and excited to have you. Kudos again to those in their first year. It's definitely been a year for sure. And of course, it's always humbling to welcome our seasoned veterans. We're all lifelong learners. And so, all in all, while I can't see the room and tell you who's here, we'll know in those small groups who's here. What I can tell you is that in your position as a principal, assistant principal, associate, academic principal, dean, so many different titles, a principal coach, someone is always watching. You are always a model and you are the key contributor to the tone and culture of your building and your team. And truly, in order to lead, you must also be able to follow. Effective leaders are listeners, they are coachable, and they never forget their heart's work, which is not about being in charge, but taking care of those in their charge. So this pandemic, more than ever, has reminded us that leadership matters. And I'll say that over and over again, leadership matters. We have decades of research and data that supports the fact that great principals lead effective schools. And our team is extremely proud to help build the pipeline, not only over these 2 days, but in our day-to-day work. So huge virtual hugs to each of you, because the fact that you're here with us this morning shows that you're committed to your own personal and professional growth. As a reminder, please don't forget that in the hustle and bustle and urgency of your work in improving student achievement, you can't do this work alone. Part of your role as a leader is to help shine a light on the gifts and talents of your team, your teachers and your students, to ensure the collective commitment that you need to move the vision and the work forward. So stay encouraged. We want to thank you for leading with both your head and your heart. And before I hand it over to the keynote speaker, huge kudos to Team OSQ for organizing and facilitating this conference. We are most empowered when we empower others. And this team is truly about building and serving. I am proud of their work, and I have no doubt that you will leave here with either a seed to plant for your later work or a nugget for immediate implementation. Team OSQ, or honestly any member of the agency, is here to serve, so please don't hesitate to reach out. One of our newest members to the agency and this morning's keynote speaker is Dr. Rosa Atkins. Dr. Atkins is the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at the agency. Atkins recently retired from Charlottesville City Schools, where she served as superintendent since 2006. Dr. Atkins received recognition from the board for her leadership, including being named State Superintendent of the Year in 2011 and one of the 2 national finalists for the AASA Women in School Leadership Award for Superintendents. Dr. Atkins was one of the longest serving superintendents in the Commonwealth and worked to close opportunity gaps, increase student achievement, and improve graduation rates in Charlottesville City Schools. Dr. Atkins brings decades of experience and demonstrated passion to her role at the agency. Dr. Atkins, thank you for joining us this morning. The microphone is now yours.
Dr. Ortiz, thank you so much. When you said decades of leadership experience, that just made me smile. So please don't think that I am decades old, not in the least. So thank you so much. And thank you, Danielle Henderson. You have been immensely helpful in getting this started and getting me up to par in this presentation. So thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. I want to echo what Dr. Ortiz has said about your role in leading our young people and leading the school divisions in the Commonwealth. As a superintendent, the leaders in a school division are vital to the success and the reputation of the school division. You are the heart of our work. You are the heart of our communities. So thank you for your work. I have the honor of coming before you now and just to encourage you, to say to you that huge thank you for day in and day out leading us during a very difficult time, a time in which we had unprecedented challenges, unprecedented changes that were happening not only in our schools, in our communities, in our classrooms, throughout our Commonwealth. So thank you for the endless nights that you have spent, the days that you have spent addressing those challenges and working. We appreciate you so much. And during those challenging times, you have gained so many additional skills. Those skills will help us and give us insight into solving problems that are on the horizon. So know that you are incredibly valuable. Today, what I'd like to do is just take a very few minutes to encourage you and to talk about some of the things that you have already done and you will also do going forward. Let me tell you 7 things to remember as you lead through difficult times. And look at the word through. We're not going to be in these difficult times forever. You will be a part of bringing us out. So during these difficult times, remember to control your fear. The mission comes first, but without you, the mission can never succeed. Rely on your preparation. You have it. It's there. You just have to push the fear to the side and gain it. Be tough, but be human. And that's one of the things that I have learned to work on. Encourage your team every day. Use resources. Use them wisely, but remember to use them in all sorts of resources. And then remember to imitate the leaders who have inspired you, either presently or in the past. Now let's, for just a few minutes, unpack these. Let's go to controlling your fear. So during times of fear, sometimes we can't move forward. We're paralyzed. Control that. Because women who control their fear, who look it in the eye, they are the ones who do not allow fear to stop them. They then become the master of fear. Thank you. During these challenging times, you're going to gain strength, courage, and confidence each time you look fear in the face, and you are determined that you will not stop with you encountered the fear, but you will move the fear to the side and address the issue and move forward. Our next one, remember, you are vital to the accomplishment of the mission. You have been placed in your school division for a specific reason. Your purpose is much larger than you are. Sometimes in the midst of difficult times, we feel very small and insignificant. You are not insignificant. You are an important part of the team. You are the leader of the team. The people that you are leading, the students and the staff that you lead, they're looking to you, your movements, your actions. They want to see that you are not just surviving, you are thriving. And not that you have to thrive 8 hours a day, but you do have to have moments of thriving each day. You have to show that tenacity. You have to show that determination each day and come out with a smile on your face. You may be crying behind closed doors, but when you walk out before the team that you are leading, they need you to show them that what they see as impossible is actually possible in your eyes, and you have a vision of success. Surround yourself with people who have that same determination and that mission. That does not mean that people who show you fear or who are intimidated by the challenges that are before them are not an important part of the team. As a leader, it's your job to develop the talent that is within them. You have hired them or someone else hired them because they saw potential. As the leader, you have to bring out that potential. Rely on your preparation. You know, no one gets to big jobs without accomplishing the small ones very well. You have to each day make sure that you accomplish the tasks that are before you and do it with excellence. And that excellence is not something that you want to display periodically. That excellence comes in each day that you show up. It is the way you show up. It is the tools that you bring, the preparation that you bring to the space each day, because believe me, every day your team is watching you. They want to see how you come in, especially after what occurred yesterday. They're thinking about yesterday. As the leader, you've gone home and you've started thinking about tomorrow. So you come in with the vision of tomorrow. If you have to follow a pathway that is already carved, make it your own. Okay, don't just walk down that pathway. Run, skip, jump, change the scenery along the way. Change the method that you use for going down that pathway. Yes, we have to come in every day, each day in our classrooms and help our teachers and support our teachers to provide high quality instruction. Well, that's a pathway that has been carved long ago. But come in each day, determine that you're going to bring a fresh bouquet of flowers to that pathway, that your teachers may smell those, that your staff may see those, and they may be encouraged and know that there is hope and that the goal that you have set for them is a realistic goal. Be tough, but be human. You know, our teams are looking at us during the pandemic. You know, I can remember as a superintendent, it was incredibly difficult, very difficult. However, I did not internalize the difficulty that we were in when I was reading about people contracting COVID, people who had been affected, families who had been affected. Certainly my heart grieved for them, but it really did not touch me until staff in Charlottesville City started being affected. Once our staff started being affected, I had a different set of expectations. I had different emotions. I then needed to let my team know that I was responding to this pandemic and the challenges that were before us, not as a machine, but with all of the humanity, all of the concern, all of the empathy that I could bring to the situation. And that was day in and day out. You have to lead. You have to be intentional, focused, and determined to move it forward. But you also have to bring to it humanity. Find those moments in which you can be, you can have some humor, that you can laugh, that you can let your hair down a bit. You can be vulnerable. You can cry. You can hurt. And you can show and share with other people that you are vulnerable and that they can take the risk to be vulnerable in front of you also. Humanity is so important. Encourage your team. That's a part of that humanity. You have to realize that each time a family was affected with, had some encounter with COVID, whether it be a relative, someone in their household, that took an emotional toll on that employee. So we just are not dealing with that employee. We're dealing with the effects of what happened in that employee's family. We're dealing with what happened in that child's family when they're going home and when they're encountering their loved ones. So make sure that you are encouraging each one of your team members to deal with the situation at hand, but to stand back up and to stand strong. You know, the work that we're doing now will determine the success of public education years into the future. So what we're doing now are stepping stones. We're building those stepping stones for our educational system, for our young people, our teachers and our staff well into the future. And then use your resources. You know, oftentimes we think about the resources as being our financial resources, our material resources, but also use your human resources. Use them wisely, but absolutely use them. Call a friend, call in volunteers, call on those people that you've known from the past. Call them and ask them to come in and lend a hand. One of our school divisions, Petersburg, have you read about what they're doing with their bus? I forgot the name of their bus, but they have a bus that actually goes out into the community, taking vital supplies and materials out to students and families to encourage them. Can you imagine being a family where you don't have enough food, or you don't have the adequate clothing for the season that you're in, or you don't have some of the personal items that you or some of your family members may need just to be comfortable during a day? And you see the wave, that's it, the wave bus. You see that wave bus coming down the road. Oh my, I'll tell you a story. When I was growing up, I came from Emporia, Virginia, Greensville County. And if you know anything about Greensville County, it's one of the poorest locations in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So my family had very little. And I can remember as a little girl, one day, a train came through town. And you know, Emporia, trains come through the middle of the town. Well, before the train got to our town, some of the boxcars caught on fire. And they had clothing in the boxcars. So instead of unloading all of those clothes, many of them had suffered smoke damage. The train came on through town and it stopped. And word spread throughout the town that the train had stopped and they were unloading those items that had smoke damage. It was closed, and that anyone in the community who wanted them could come get them. That was our wave bus. My parents ran down and they got clothes. I couldn't have been more than 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old. And they came back with some of the most beautiful orange and yellow and green shorts and tops that I had ever seen. What a blessing that was to me. And I put those on, I wore them. That's probably why I wear a lot of bright colors today, just because that version of the wave bus came. Look for those opportunities to use your community, use the resources in your community, and use them wisely to impact our children. Be resourceful with what's available to you. And then the last one, imitate the leaders who have inspired you. You did not get to the position that you are in on your own. There were some steps, some shoulders and some knees and laps and shoulders and heads that you had to stand on in order to get to where you are today. I have many that are in my past, and you have them also. Be the shoulder for someone else to stand on, but during difficult times, use those experiences that you have had with your mentors, those who have inspired you, to think about how did they respond in a crisis? What did they do? What were some of the behaviors that they displayed during that difficult time? And then emulate that. Make it your own, but emulate that and make it work for your community. Again, thank you. Thank you for being the leaders that you are. Thank you for hanging in there. The work that you do as a leader, be it a building leader or division leader, it is analogous to the work of a superintendent. You manage every department in your area of leadership that a superintendent manages at the division level. So do know that you are a vital part of the team. Students, parents, and staff are depending, and communities are depending on you to lead them, to guide them, to show them the way. Be the light, be the leader, that makes a difference in a student's life. Thank you again for all of that you do, and have a wonderful conference.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Ortiz and Dr. Atkins, for your words of encouragement to our participants this morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Danielle Henderson. I am a school quality specialist with the Office of School Quality, and I'm going to share with you just a little information to ensure that you have a positive conference experience. Just a few reminders regarding our conference Zoom format. It will be a webinar format, although you still will be able to engage in the sessions. So some of the tools that our presenters will be using that are located at the bottom of your screen, you'll be able to ask questions and answers, and you'll receive answers. There'll be the chat option. You can also raise your hand, which I saw a few people doing during the opening session. The presenter will be able to see your responses. You'll be able to upvote and have comments. The presenters can also allow you and may allow you to unmute your mic and give your questions verbally. The presenter will also be adding various links into the chat feature for you to be able to, again, participate actively within the conference session. A couple of other reminders and tips. Please make sure that you do have the most recent update of Zoom on your device in order to fully participate in the conference sessions. Please complete the surveys after each session. The presenters would love to have your feedback. We want to make sure that each year that we put on this conference, we make it better for you. And following the conference, you will receive a copy of all the presentations, supporting resources, and a final conference survey on your overall experience of the conference. Also, I know you've received many different emails with the participants guide that has the links to the various conference sessions. Just in case you do not have your guide handy, please feel free to take a moment to use the QR code or the tiny URL on this screen to be able to access the participants guide that has the sessions. And lastly, again, on behalf of our director, Dr. Aurelia Ortiz, as well as the Office of School Quality, I want to thank you so much for attending the conference and taking time out of your busy schedule to focus on your professional development needs. We sincerely hope you walk away with something that will increase your leadership capacity. Please enjoy your conference experience. Have a great day. We will begin the first session promptly at 9:30. Thank you so much. This concludes our opening session.